Well, let's talk about iPad because that was a big announcement at the Expo event, the virtual Expo event that Apple has held. Whether you'd call it an expo as such, I don't know, but it's sort of like a mini expo that they hold on a regular basis throughout the year. One thing before we get to iPad, Jeff, I wanted to talk to you about nothing announced regarding iPhone.
The elephant in the room, right? I mean, everybody would have expected that September is new iPhone month. We all have saved up our pennies to try and afford one, and we didn't hear a single peep about it. Tim Cook opened the actual presentation by saying, we're here to talk about Apple Watch and iPad. So immediately people could have switched off in the first minute and stopped watching. We actually think that this will be an October announcement now. Obviously delays out of manufacturing in China. You can imagine that through COVID, this is why it's occurred. But a massive noticeable missing element here because we all want to hear about the new iPhone. We want to know whether it's going to be good enough to compete with what Samsung has announced this year, which is around 20 different devices. So it'd be nice to see at least one from Apple.
It does show that supply chain issues are continuing to bite global manufacturing because I heard a story the other day where one laptop company planned to ship about 50,000 laptops to Australia. Unfortunately, even though the laptops were ready, they didn't have cardboard boxes for them yet. So you have one part that isn't ready. You don't have any part of the product ready. So look, maybe they're just needing some more time. Maybe they're tinkering with the final elements of that next iPhone. Regardless, let's talk about iPad.
We are thrilled to introduce an all-new, completely redesigned iPad Air. And here it is.
Hey, baby. Hey, hey. You got me feeling punch drunk, crazy. Hey, hey. It's everything I want now, maybe. Can we do it again? If you're done, then I'll make you double up. I'll raise it. I could never figure you out. Your blessings, all I ever wanted. I'm stressed. You got me feeling nauseous. I'm stressed. You got me feeling nauseous. Wow, 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 wow.
This is the new iPad Air.
So iPad, Jeff, I want to talk to you about that now. What's the key thing that we're seeing with iPad? And would we be racing out to get a new one if we love our iPad today, but maybe not quite sure whether we're going to get all these new features and get a benefit from them?
Yeah, look, I think if you've got an iPad today and it's working, keep using it. There's no real reason that you need to throw it out to get the latest model. They announced two iPads. Now, firstly, they announced the iPad 8th generation, which looks just like previous iPads. Big home button, big bezel around the edge. It just runs a little bit faster. It's got the internal components of a more up-to-date iPad. But then you've got the new iPad Air. Now, this one is a noticeable change because you don't have the home button. You've actually got a screen that extends closer to the edges all the way around. And it's also got the power to now not just be a device that you consume content on, but a device that you create content on. And that's something that would have been left to the iPad Pro or even a laptop in the past. But now we're being able to do this on the iPad Air because it has got so much power built in.
And I guess that's the transition of this device, right? Because you look at Mac products, there's no touchscreen on Macs like there are on many PCs that are out there. So I guess the fit of iPad is to become, I guess, a content creation device just with ultra portability.
Yeah, and look, I think once you attach a keyboard and you've got the Apple Pencil as well that you can use, you start to really understand how much power and how much potential is in the iPad. And for a lot of people out there who say, I want to buy a laptop because I just want to do email and online banking, you start to think, well, hang on, we can probably save a lot of money here by just getting you an iPad, which will do all of those things just fine and more with that portability factor, the extreme battery life that it does have. And plus, it's just a really nice device to carry around the home for, reading the news on and other everyday things.
And then, of course, managing your smart home and all those kinds of things in that nice, safe ecosystem that they provide. Yeah, really interesting stuff. Do you think, it's almost like iPad's become the boring announcement from Apple every year, right? It's just, oh, another iPad. Oh, what's new? Oh, yeah, okay, great. But when you want a new iPad, you just go get one.
It is one of those default kind of products that if you do want to buy a tablet, people default to the iPad. There are great competitors out there, whether it's Samsung or Microsoft, but it is usually just a consumption device. People say, I need an iPad because I'm going to go on a flight. I want to watch some Netflix content. That's fine. But when you think about actually creating content, editing video and photos, you can do that really well on the new iPad now.
Interesting stuff, though. My daughter's got a Galaxy Tab 4, I think it is, and she's cutting videos on it as normally as you and I would cut videos on a PC using a keyboard and a mouse, right? So it does lend to the fact that next generation of device users, this is the product that they're going to be using to create content in the way that we used to many years ago in a different way. So we'll watch this one with interest. Any small bits and pieces about iPad that people should know about?
Look, I think the only other thing to mention would be that the cameras on them, as much as I don't love seeing people take photos on an iPad, the camera on the new iPad Air is phenomenal and is going to be something that people actually could take almost professional grade photography with. So I don't love seeing people walk around the city holding an iPad in the sky to do it, but if you have to do it, you're going to get a great shot with the new iPad Air. It's just not a great look. The other thing too is that the iPad Air now comes in colors. We've used to just have, gray, black, white. Now you can have blue and green. If that's something that people are interested in, the iPad Air comes in colors now.
May the Lord have mercy on all of us if we're going to start using an iPad for professional photography. Up next, we're going to talk about the Apple ecosystem because there was lots of new nuggets of information right there.